Across Britain, battles rage. Not only do warriors fight for territory, but two religions set themselves against one another. The worshippers on the sacred Isle of Avalon call on the name of the Mother Goddess. While the priests of the Holy Church believe in the Christ. They battle for the souls and the hearts of the people. In this time of unrest, Uther Pendragon becomes king and chooses the beautiful Igraine for his queen. Together, they dwell in the castle at Camelot. They do not live alone, for with them is Morgana, Igraine's daughter from her first marriage to Golor, the Duke of Cornwall. Queen Igraine also has two sisters. One is Morgause, skilled in magic, who becomes the queen in Lothian. Her second sister is Vivianne, High Priestess of Avalon, also known as the Lady of the Lake. This sister urged the marriage of Uther and Igraine, hoping that a child will be born to save Britain from the Saxon invaders, and to preserve the sacred Isle of Avalon, keeping alive in the hearts of the people the ancient belief in the Mother Goddess. From this marriage is born Arthur. children. Morgana and her half-brother Arthur are very close. When they are still young, however, they are separated from each other and their parents. Morgana is taken by Vivianne to Avalon to become a priestess and her successor as Lady of the Lake. Arthur, on the other hand, is taken by the great mage Merlin to be trained for his role as the future king. Years pass. When she is fully grown, Morgana is encouraged by Vivianne to participate in the ancient fertility rite at Beltane, known as the Sacred Marriage, in order to preserve the future of Avalon. In the Beltane ceremony, Morgana becomes the Maiden Huntress and must join together with the man who kills the King Stag. Thus, with painted faces and masks, Morgana and her partner, her own half-brother Arthur, complete the ancient rite without knowing their real identities. An act which will have dire consequences in the future. Once his training with the mage Merlin is complete, Arthur returns home to find Camelot under siege from the invading Saxons. He arrives in time to find Uther, the king, wounded and dying. Arthur, his son and heir, begs the goddess for help to defeat the enemy. The goddess hears his pleas. The Lady Vivianne appears in the flames to guide him. return, Arthur swears allegiance to Avalon. The Lady of the Lake beckons Arthur to draw the sword from the stone. By this means, Arthur claims his inheritance as the rightful king of the land. Arthur is victorious. At Camelot, everyone gathers for his coronation. One by one, his subjects swear allegiance to their new king. The Lady of the Lake, Vivianne, representing Avalon, and the Bishop, representing the Church. The Queen Mother, Igraine, who bore Arthur. Merlin, the Mage, who trained the boy Arthur in the ways of kingship. Morgana, Arthur's partner for the Beltane rite, who, unbeknownst, now bears the new king's child, Mordred. Morgause, the Lothian queen and spellmaker, who is jealous of King Arthur's position and secretly plots his downfall. Lancelot, Arthur's half-cousin and friend, who becomes the most famous knight in Arthur's Round Table. Princess Guinevere, daughter of King Leodegrance, who in time becomes Arthur's queen. King Arthur and his queen Guinevere are loved by the people. Camelot prospers and is well protected by the king's loyal knights. However, dark sorcery is at work. Unbeknownst to them, Morgause, the jealous queen in Lothian, casts an evil spell. If the royal couple remains childless, her own sons will have a chance to seize the power and the High King's throne. Weeks and months pass. In Camelot, the cradle remains empty. Arthur's kingdom has no heir. While Guinevere grieves her childlessness, Morgana flees to her aunt Morgause, seeking a haven away from Camelot, and the Lady of the Lake, Vivianne, who wishes to raise her unborn child to serve Avalon and the old ways of the goddess. Morgause promises to shelter Morgana and her baby. After the birth of Mordred, her aunt insists that Morgana returns to court in Camelot, leaving her child behind. Once alone with Mordred, Morgause weaves a dark spell that will ultimately turn Arthur's only son against his father. In desperation, childless Queen Guinevere bewails her fate. When the unhappy queen discovers that Morgana is back at court, she begs her for a love charm to help her fall pregnant. Morgana offers her an amulet to be used on Beltane during the fertility rite, but warns her that magic does not always work in the way one anticipates. Blaming himself, Arthur too seeks help. The king convinces his loyal knight, Lancelot, to seduce the queen for the good of the kingdom. He vows to accept any child of their union as his heir. Aided by magic, Arthur's initial encouragement, and their own growing affection for each other, love blossoms between Guinevere and Lancelot. But there is no child. The years pass. Far from court, Mordred grows to manhood under the unwholesome influence of his cunning aunt Morgause. Eventually he learns the truth. He is the Beltane child of King Arthur and his half-sister Morgana. Armed with this knowledge, Mordred travels to Camelot, where he presents himself as Morgana's son. His scheme is to get close to Arthur, and then find a way to discredit him in order to become king himself. At first he gains the king's trust through informing him of the plots of his enemies. Then he demonstrates his prowess with a sword. Through skill and his own craftiness, he eventually secures a knighthood and becomes one of the king's companions, a step closer to the throne. In time, Mordred does find a way to discredit the High King. He uses the love between Arthur's Queen Guinevere and his first knight Lancelot as the means. Surprised in Guinevere's bedchamber, the couple flee from Camelot, named as traitors for betraying the king. The lovers separate. Guinevere enters a convent. Lancelot rides on. When Arthur shows reluctance to pursue and punish Guinevere and Lancelot, both of whom he loves, Mordred seizes the opportunity to take control. He gathers his followers to fight against his father in the final battle for the throne. As father and son lie dying on the battlefield, Morgana, now Lady of the Lake, comes to claim the sword Excalibur, the symbol of kingship. From Arthur's hand she removes it, in order to return it from whence it came. The kingdom of Camelot and the Isle of Avalon fade into the mists of time, but the memory of the glorious deeds of King Arthur and his noble knights live on for all time. There is a legend that, some day, in the far distant future, when the need is greatest, King Arthur and his brave knights, who lie but sleeping now, will rise again to defend the land they love.